Alternate history is way more entertaining than real history, for obvious reasons. Especially today's topic, which is strange because it's not really alternate history, it's much worse. You see, all of this happened a long time ago, leaving behind very scarce evidence, resulting in some amateur historians doubting its reality and simply disregarding it as brain rot. Well, they are simply fucking stupid. Anyone claiming these events are fake is paid by Alex Soros, son of George Soros, to hide the truth, but they can't hide it from me. Of course, I'm talking about the Finno-Korean Hyperwar. You probably already read the title, but it took me several hours to learn how to animate this text in DaVinci Fusion, so please appreciate it. Beautiful, isn't it? Took my laptop 10 minutes to render it. So anyway, I stumbled upon this old meme that brought back memories, and then I realized that there isn't a video about it that would explain the entire thing. So I'm gonna fix that. And also, written sources are quite limited, so I did my best getting lost in the rabbit hole and finding every piece of information about this, and it's more deranged than you think. Also, it contains some racist or otherwise offensive stuff, but it's pretty evenly divided among groups, so it's more of a casual banter than targeted hate. Still, if you don't like this kind of stuff, it's probably not the best topic for you. So this meme, or rather inside joke, originated from 4chan. Where else would have it came from? It evolved from various forms of shitposting, one of which was calling Finnish people Mongolians. I can say that because just like our Finnish brothers, us hungry people are also referred to as Mongoloids. It's like our M word. I can't say shit on YouTube mainly because, well, as you can see, I'm so white that I get a sunburn during a full moon, but I can call our fellow Asiatic brothers as Mongoloids. Anyway, as I said, one of the origins of the shitpost is Finns being Mongolians. Closely related is a meme from /in/ and /is/ or the International and History and Humanities boards of 4chan about an ancient Finnish empire. It's just like Hyperborea, which in itself could be an entire new video. It's similar to the usual stuff by nationalist patriotic people who, instead of trying to improve their country or fix its problem, just shitpost 24/7 about how great it was long time ago. Another thing that contributed to the birth of this meme is this graph, depicting the setback in science and human knowledge by the rise of Christianity. And this graph was soon turned into this, one of the first appearances of the Finno-Korean Hyperwar, depicting the loss of knowledge caused by it. Also contributing to the birth of this meme is that Finland and Korea are only separated by one country, Russia, until, it balkanizes. As the meme developed, it incorporated more slightly racist shitposting, mainly Jakub the scientist, which again could be its own video. And as I mentioned earlier, nationalistic shitposting, this time from black people, about how every single African American person is somehow descended from kings of a mystical African kingdom. That was turned into a different meme by white nationalists, these ones, Vivus Kangs and stuff like that. Also, it's probably a good time to mention that I do not agree with the messages of these memes, I'm just talking about them. Someone has to. And the further I got into the actual timeline of the war, I realized that there isn't really one single origin point. As I described originally, it evolved from these main things, but as time went on, it turned more and more surreal, incorporating even more inside jokes and other memes. Anyway, after learning where the Finno-Korean Hyperwar originated from, I also researched what actually happened during it, which was a mistake. There are several unhinged sources of this brain rot, one of which is Uncyclopedia, which is just like Wikipedia but way more fun. And somehow, whenever I check it out, someone is constantly updating it and changing stuff. So this meme is pretty much alive. Also, there are a lot of snippets of information on this, each of which reads like the ramblings of a schizophrenic crackhead. So yeah. I suffered through it, and now you too will have to suffer. So buckle up. The war broke out between the Great One Empire of East Korea and the Proto-Finnic Holy Roman Khaganate over a dispute of who was the rightful Roman emperor. This was around 8300 BC. Other mid-sized powers and minor factions also took part in the war, but I will get to them when they become relevant. Due to the lack of remaining written records, it's uncertain whether or not it was a civil war within a federalized Ural-Altaic Empire or a regular war between two rival powers whose culture and language became increasingly similar due to the interconnected trade and cultural interchange. The war officially started on the 31st of April, 8245 BC. BC stands for before Christ, as these events happened before the second coming of Jesus Christ, as detailed in the New Testament. The actual birth of Christ is lost to history, but it is rumored to have happened far before the foundation of both empires. The opening of the war happened when the Fingolian pre-horse archers, commanded by Spurdo Parda I Spurdo, occupied One India, the main research and technology center of the One Empire, where it was rumored that the scientists were developing Half-Life 4. Around 8200 BC, seizing the opportunity, the Great Emu Empire invaded Japan, the central spaceport of the One Empire. The Emu Empire was not directly allied with the Holy Roman Khaganate. It was simply an opportunistic cooperation to diminish the One Empire's capabilities to travel to Mars, which at the time was under the control of the Great Emu Empire. Shortly after the invasion of Japan, fearing a power imbalance between the Khaganate and the One Empire that was now losing on two fronts, Yakub the scientist, king of the Vivus Empire, intervened against the Khaganate in order to prevent them gaining too much control over Eurasia. That could later serve as a staging ground for an invasion against the African technocracies. Another consequence of the invasion of Japan was that the Great Emu Empire now had greater spacefaring capacity than the rest of the Earth empires combined, which posed a significant threat as now they had the opportunity to completely blockade the Earth and spread further into the galaxy from their outpost on Mars. According to the Chronicles of Arthur 70s, a native to Emu Mars, the Lemurian Empire launched a hypersonic flare gun that resulted in the destruction of the entire Emu colony on Mars. Due to the ongoing conflict on Earth around 8000 BC, the Nephilim departed from Earth. Their current location is unknown. The upcoming series of battles were devastating and led to the deaths of Spurdo Parda I, Spurdo, Khan of the Holy Roman Khaganate, ruler of the Hyperthrone. Under his direction, Genghis Khan commanded an army of Swiss mercenaries and battle mammoths, Ursine cavalry, and the Tyrannosaurus Rex against the One Empire's army of Jedi Knights, Proto-Ninjas, and augmented cavalry, which was led by Gaius Julius Caesar, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Jackie Chan. These culminated in the last great battles sometime after 7000 BC in the ancient Turkish city of Batman. Encyclopedia also mentioned that Jackie Chan was fighting while holding an infant in a leather factory. I have no idea what this is about. As I said, this entire meme is packed with inside jokes and other surrealistic stuff. Anyway, the battle was cataclysmic and several donor shops were destroyed, along with the participating armies, resulting in both empires to resort to asking for intergalactic support. Hearing about the ongoing wars and devastation on Earth, the shape-shifting, telepathic reptilian aliens from Alpha Centauri took advantage of the chaos on Earth and invaded, enslaving humanity. There is some more stuff about the continent of Mu, Atlantis, and other stuff. After sitting on this video for about 2 months and sometimes reading up on it and reading the encyclopedia multiple times, I realized that it's constantly changing and there is really no point of going through the entire deranged history of this hypothetical war, mostly because there isn't one single timeline. It's constantly changing and expanding with even more deranged and surrealistic shitposting. You already get what it's like, it's just more of the same shizo stuff. Anyway, Finno-Korean Hyperwar, which is somehow more embarrassing than the fetish iceberg that I made. This is the place where I would recommend some books and sources for further reading, but I don't recommend doing this. Just go outside, touch some grass, maybe burn some anthills with a magnifying glass, and whatever floats your boat. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a nice day.